Alright, so obviously I have a large set of stuff. This is for obviously it's a failed game. Shaman King by Upper Deck. If you've not heard of it, it is effectively the precursor to the Quick Strike system, released in January 2004. The whole, basically it's based off of an anime that was being released around the same time. I'm checking to make sure I got my date right. It's 2004. There is only reincarnation. There were obviously plans to kind of get this off the ground, and it didn't go. The story of the game. Now, I don't know anything about the anime. The story of the game is kind of entertaining. It released as a Blockbuster exclusive at the end of January, last week of January, first week of February, and there's an interview, and all this is quoted down. And Blockbuster got the exclusive distribution, so this was only available in their stores for the first 2 weeks. After that goes to hobby shops, everything else, because hobby shops had no interest in this game. Sorry, I laughed so hard I shook the table. They had no interest in this game, and basically the marketing person after all this did essentially say that, well, if anyone shown any interest, we would have, shopped around. We also learned from this we're not going to do any non-hobby exclusives because it hurts the market. You want this in hobby stores as soon as possible. Now this goes in, and the reason you see starter decks, each starter deck has two of any two deck. Now, mind you, I recracked this box, so I have the 12 decks here. There's 10 characters if memory serves, and they each come with 30 card decks. I have a few of these open. The 30 card decks are not necessarily compatible, quote unquote. The short version, and I'll just take this one out, and then I'll give you some more fun anecdotes. Let me see. So you can see there's 3 symbols at the bottom. They're called traits, and every card has to either be blank or have that trait. So this literally is the same exact pack it came from. I didn't mess anything up. You'll notice those traits aren't there, provided my lighting holds out. Now, they do tell you in the 2-player game, don't worry about the traits. And you know what? Perfectly fine. I'm not going to give them flack for putting out a product that, they just tell you don't worry about it. The 2 decks combined, you'll have 60 cards for the game, 2 characters to choose from, in the sake of if you bought one of these and then you want to later do deck construction. What's interesting is it this one? No, it's this one. I got 3 of these, 2, 2, 2, and then a bunch of singles. In this one, I actually got, and I'll show you, one of the, if you want to call them an ultra rare or whatever you want to call it, hollow foil. Now, that's not, that truly means it's random. Let's see if you can see that. There are what's called spectrograms. That's what this is. Each of the 10 characters has a spectrogram, and it's exclusive to their character. So obviously it gives each character kind of like, their own unique deck identity. They're the only cards that are exclusive to that character. The rest are obviously limited by the traits. Now, those hollow foils are obviously part of the chase. That's how you keep people coming back, and you're like, I want to buy more booster packs, everything else. This was sold in the 2-player starters and the booster packs of 10 cards, one of which is a character card. So if you buy a booster box, which I believe is 24 packs, you're going to have a whole bunch of these laying around. Are you going to have a complete set of 10? You should, but then you're going to have a bunch of, other ones laying around, and so in my opinion, that's, strike one. So let's pop this. I'll let you see what the insides look like of these 2-player starters, because they're, in my, you'll see what I'm talking about when I say this thing has such a, well, it just has, it has a fun history in the sense of it being its own sort of tragedy. They all come with that exclusive card right here. This is like the first attack card. You don't actually need it to play, but it helps for learning. It comes with DVD with 2 episodes on it. So if you have to, when you're selling your game, let people get the episodes to figure out what this show is, I don't know if that really puts you in a great position. The marketing director essentially said the reason the game, if you want to use the term, died. I'm going to try and get this out so I can get it back in. Now, it comes out in this little tray, 2 little plastic rivets. DVD comes out, and then you have, there's actually a thumb hole right here. Then you have your 2 characters sealed. So you'll see, I already have those. That's another tray, and another Janine, she's over here, so that's one of the more common ones. I'll be putting all this stuff back together. On a positive side, I will give them, it comes with these play mats. It comes with 2 of them for 2 players. So literally, now, I'm trying to open it without ripping the whole thing going too fast. As you can see, these take up your entire side, like a Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Playmat or whatever, and then you overlap this advantage area. So this takes up some table space. What the Quick Strike system, what this would eventually become, it's interesting because it's a game about true deck construction. Now, you're going to be like, well, what does that even mean? The deck construction aspect is that there is no hand in this game. There are cards that can sit aside in different zones. You have the 3 zones: your red, your yellow, your green. And, you know, you as they say in the book, it's kind of like playing War. It is and it isn't. There's other games that have used sort of similar things. Now, mind you, in my mind, it's volleyball, because you have the initial attack goes over, that player defends, and then the attack or the counter-attack, the force on that attack, goes to the other player where they have to defend, and it's first to get 3 points. There is no decking aspect. If you were to deck out, you simply just, shuffle your discard back up, and that can be good and bad. So that's another tray. That's a June. I'm hoping that after all this, I'll have one of, all 10, but with these things, you never know. That's just the way stuff goes. I'm going to set these things off to the side. But anyway, back on track. I'm just giving you a short overview of the game because the rules do an acceptable job. It's acceptable because if you've played other TCGs, seeing it in action kind of makes sense. Obviously, the website no longer is up. And Archive doesn't really have much on this, which is to the detriment of anyone buying this product, which means you actually do need to figure it out from the rules. Well, I see another June. But anyway, so we have another June. We have a Len. I do not believe nice. So that's another character. That's a Len. Put him right there. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the characters, 8 of the 10. I might be able to pull it out because I still have 6 more decks to... Actually, 6 or 4. Yeah, I have 6 more decks to look at. 3 more starters. We'll set them right there and just kind of get this thing out of the way. But anyway, so I can't seem to find an MSRP on what these decks, these 2-player starters. Now, most people are selling them for around 10 to 15, and that means these things are probably somewhere between 10 to 15, maybe even the $13 mark. The booster packs, I can tell you, were $4 for the 10 cards, which that's a little steep. $4 for 10 cards, even by. Ooh, that is another one. So there we go. I'll see if I can get that to. Oh man, your lighting, you're killing me here. No, maybe, kind of. Up, down, left, right. Duncan. So big burly guy with a hood. Lyzig, that's my second Lyzig. But anyway, so the pricing on this game isn't great. Now, mind you, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, at least a 2-player starter gave you a 2-episode DVD. I'm like, well, 2 episodes, that and $1 will get you a coffee at McDonald's. I know, old joke. But for everything said and done, this game, I like the system. It was later adapted to IPs. They took this and the premise of the Quick Strike system, what this game designed, the groundwork, was used for Avatar: The Last Airbender and Pirates of the Caribbean in 2006. Both of them were in 2006. One was in January, one was in June. Now, the tragedy, if you will, because what they did was with Quick Strike, they have universal backs. Okay, so this game, this set, technically, oh, there's another Duncan, cool. There's another Maddie. So this game can technically be played with the Quick Strike cards because they use the same mechanics more overall. They can't be mixed like the Pirate and Avatar one can because you don't have the same card backs. Now, you could be like, oh, I'll just, put on opaque backs. Well, they don't have the same traits. Like, each set kind of has their own traits and everything else. Like, the idea was there of, oh, you can have they quote it as saying, "Oh, you can have Ong face, Captain Jack Sparrow." On paper, that sounds cool, but I think a lot of people. One, I've never heard of the. I've in passing in the ads, I heard of the quick strike system, but when I was playing card games, I had no desire to be picking up basically anime card games because basically Yu-Gi-Oh! I am not a fan of how they release stuff and everything else. Did I make my set? I have a Yo. I may have just made my set. We'll find out. And there's no Lyzig. So we have June, Lyzig, Zeke, Jeannie, Lola, Trey, Maddie, Yo, Duncan, Len. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice! I actually just made my set. As sad as of a goal as that is, it's more, can I buy booster packs? I can. And the chase really would be that to buy those booster packs, you're looking for those foil what are spectrums or whatever they were called. Well, they're estimated, I believe, I want to say it was like 1 per 2 boxes or something like that, and you're allowed up to 4 of every card. So that means, in theory, you're going to be buying a lot, and then you have all these cards that, even the rares aren't going to be holding their value anywhere near those character-specific cards. And I can't tell you from playing, one character or another. Now, the feature that sets Quick Strike apart, besides the deck building and the fact you have no hand, these are called chamber cards, and that all the Quick Strike ones have them. There's a little tab, and you pull, and there are special moves. You do it, you then close it, turn it over. That is a different special move. You'll see when we do discussion, when we talk about gameplay and everything else, the more I thought about it, the more I like this game. Now, I'm also telling you that I like it from the aspect of what I paid for both those boxes from the same shipper. I like the price of the game for what I got. If you were going to tell me this was, let's take worst case scenario. Just to say this was 15 and booster packs are $4 a piece. No. I'm going to tell you, I think that is a reason for why it failed. I'm completely speculating. But the IPs used, so you have an IP for an anime. I don't know if anyone watched it or you read Shonen Jump. They put right on there, Shonen Jump, a big manga magazine. The problem comes down to your price point and your value. And we talk about this in Redikai. We talk about this in a couple other games. The MSRP for this stuff, when it came out, the market's very competitive at price points. You have to look at this market very clearly. Anime, you're looking at basically your teenagers. Anywhere from like the preteen, the 12 to like maybe 17. You're really trying to catch the demographic where you're getting stuff on your parents' dollar. Now, that sounds very derogative, but you can talk to most of these marketing guys. That's what they're looking for. I have no problem with the mechanics, and the more I think about it, the more I like it. But the bigger issue is you're building your deck based off probability and statistics, both of which I think people should learn how to do. Those sorts of things help people when they learn how to play Magic or other games. Probability, statistics, and how to mitigate or work the system. All that said, you still have no control from the shuffle, the cut, and you present, your opponent can shuffle, whatever else. You have control of your character. You need the different card types because there are, to not give you too many rules, there are card types, some whose whole goal are to power things up. You go, well, why don't I just cut those out? Those are needed because without the powering up, you can't use that chamber ability. You can't. So you need those. They have teamwork cards, ones that sit on the side of the playmat to boost up the stuff in the zone that they sit on. Try cutting those out. Well, those boosts build up momentum over time because it is first to 3 points, 3 attacks that get through. You have to have early, you have to have heavy, your mids, your flexibles. All the things that Redikai also kind of did right, they had the right numbers. They had, your mega, 8, 10-point attacks with discounts and multipliers. This has that too in its own math system. But it comes down to, it's from an anime. No one really, according to the interview, it didn't catch on. That's fine. but you're paying the IP price for that. You're also paying for those chamber cards. You know, you're paying $4 for 10 cards. Magic the Gathering wasn't charging $4 for 15 cards for quite some time. And it is a numbers game, I get that. But you saw right here, this is 12 starters, 24 total possible decks. I already have 4 of Trey. I have 4 of June. I have 3 of Lysick. I have 3 of Lola. Now, the great story, and it'll come up in one of our, if we'll call them, blooper reels or whatever. These 2 Lolas came out of the same starter. I literally got a starter with 2 Lolas in it. Now, can that happen? Technically, yes. Should it be possible? My argument would be no. But that's its own thing. So they truly were random cards, But in my first box, I had no Duncans. In my first box, I did have a Zeke. My second box, no Zeke, but yes on Yo. It took 2 boxes. Who knows if they were side by side? Who knows how many of these things Blockbuster had, or even if your hobby shop got into it? Because I've read enough stories where they go to Blockbuster and basically buy it all up, which is the point, and then the hobby stores wouldn't pick it up. So you're left dead in the water waiting on buying internet boxes or whatever else. So that's kind of a brief overview and history. Definitely look for our discussion on this game. There's as much anecdote as there is the history. The fact that this helped design the Quick Strike system, a model that in the interview kind of goes on to criticize the saturation of anime IP licensed card games and how that saturation without playtesting basically kills the market. And I'm going to agree. And this is effectively one of the casualties of a market that wasn't ready, in my opinion, for that sort of innovation. When you think about it, no hand, and you're always playing off top of your deck. There is some strategy to it. There is some luck to it. And, this game effectively died so fast, there wasn't really a chance for a tournament scene. There really wasn't a chance to develop this. This game was basically dead in the water almost when it was released. It's just you needed it to be adopted quickly, to be adopted heavily, and it just didn't work. The interview, and I'll put a link to that interview in the description. It's a very brief read. It's a very good read. It's very well stated. It lets in on some industry secrets. But anyway, I'm running a little long here. Patreon.com, Cardboard Resurrection, if you'd like to vote on the games we get to next, the games we discuss next, and I do the histories on, the topics we also discussed. You have a lot of say in those polls. The more people we get in that citizen influencer tier, that poll tier, if you will, I get the giveaways. I'm not keeping all this. You better believe. I understand getting the mail. You'd be like, oh, what do I care about that? 2-player, instantly, guaranteed. 2 different characters from me, guaranteed. I'm not going to be sending you the double pack. You have the stamp of approval from Cardboard Resurrection. Like, share, and subscribe. Help get the word out there that we are digging into the games that people either forgot, or in my case, for most of these, I didn't even know about these. These weren't like industry secrets. They just came and went so fast. If you weren't looking for this in, January 2004, who knows? It would have already been clearance maybe by the time summer rolled around. But that's a discussion for another time. So